Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Danny and a few weeks ago I moved to Adelaide in South Australia from Coventry in the UK with my husband Chris and our two children, James who's 13 and Orla who is 11. This is our first video being filmed actually in Australia, which is quite exciting, and it's going to document our journey through the rental process. We used a relocation agent called Rental Search Australia, and we cannot recommend them highly enough when it comes to finding a rental in Australia. So if that's something that you're thinking about, then I hope this video is useful for you. So we did actually research quite a few different relocation agents before we settled on Rental Search Australia. And after all of that research, we felt that Rental Search Australia were the right fit for us. So after all of our research, we went onto the Rental Search Australia website. There's lots of useful information on there about different places in Australia, the different cities and different suburbs that you might want to settle. After a couple of initial emails where we were going backwards and forwards with a little bit of information, we filled in a form, and it was just all of the basic things that we wanted in our rental really. So what budget we were looking at, what sort of suburbs we were after, how many bedrooms we wanted, what our priorities were. So was it a pool, was it near to the beach, was it near to the school, was it near to the facilities of the suburb we were looking at, so the shops and things like that. So we sent all of that off, and a couple of days later we then had our initial phone call or Teams call with Markel in Adelaide. And she was just so easy to talk to. She put us at ease straight away. She went through all of the process that you have to go through here with us, went through all of the steps, how long those things would take, so the time scale, talked to us about our budget. Over in Australia, it's not recommended that you go over 30% of your income. So there were lots of useful tips and things that were part of that phone call, but she really made us feel comfortable, and she was very knowledgeable about Adelaide and the suburbs that we were after. And we knew that she'd had a lot of success with lots of people looking to relocate, but particularly those from the UK. So that was really reassuring for us as well. She let us know that ideally Rental Search Australia, the same as lots of different companies, ideally look to 4 to 6 weeks as a timescale to work with you. At this point, I think we had about 5 weeks left in the UK. We were still waiting for the house to be finalised with the sale. So we had plenty of time to look, and we weren't in a rush, which was a good situation to be in. And then after the initial call with Markel, we paid our fee, and these are all available on the website, so it's very transparent. You know exactly what you're going to get. There are 3 different packages that you can choose from. We chose the relocation package because that suited our needs and the things that we required. Once we had paid, we then received some really useful templates from Markel. So one of them was for our estate agents, because one of the things that you're going to need for a rental application is for references from people. Now, we owned a house in the UK, we didn't rent. So if you rent, you could then choose your letting agents, or it could be your landlord. But obviously we were selling our house, so we sent the template over to our estate agents and they filled it in the same day. They were really helpful. But the template that was sent to us was didn't need a lot of change at all. It was perfect, and basically just said that we kept our house in a pleasant state. It was clean, it was presentable, and all of the things that a landlord here would be looking for. We were also sent a template for our family cover letter, which is something that I'd never heard of before and have never prepared. So that was invaluable to us. It just enables landlords to really look at your situation, because obviously they get a lot of people applying, and then they can choose you. So it was things like adding a nice family photo. That was quite hard to find. We don't have many photos where there's all 4 of us together. And then just general information about why we were moving to Australia, what we wanted from our suburb, and just reassurance really that we were going to look after their house. So once we'd got those templates sorted, we then, like everything else with the process to move to Australia, had to sort out quite a few documents. My biggest piece of advice here is save everything in Google Drive, because you're going to need the same thing over and over again. So you're going to need your ID, so your passports, your birth certificates, your visa grant if you've got it. And then you're going to need things like your pay slips and your bank statements. We also put our proof of savings into our evidence folder as well. And then as soon as the house completed and the money went into our bank, we then updated our application and we popped that on there as well. It just puts you in a strong position. Obviously, you might not have jobs lined up for when you get here, but if you've got that money from the sale of your house, it gives landlords that stability that they're looking for, that the rent is going to be coming in each week or each fortnight, which is what we pay. So yeah, we saved all this in a Google Drive, and then Markel, who was our agent, she looked through all of our application stuff ready to go, was happy with it, told us where we needed to tweak a couple of things. And once our paperwork was all ready to go, she then started to shortlist properties based on the form that we'd completed, so the things that we were looking for. Now, we were quite specific on the area that we wanted. We knew which school we wanted our children to go to. So over in Australia, they have R to 12 schools, so all the way through. Because Orla had just finished primary school in the UK, and we knew that she would have to go back into primary schools because of how the years work here, we didn't want her to have to go to primary school and then have to move again shortly after to go to high school. I don't think that was fair on her. So that was one reason we wanted it all the way through. And then the school that we found, because James has never really wanted to move, we kind of had to, well, we felt like it was good to kind of get him into a soccer program. So lots of schools here have programs, specialist programs, so arts, volleyball, soccer, lots of dance, there's loads of different ones. But the school we wanted had a soccer program, which James has now got into. So we were quite specific on the suburb we wanted. Now, when we were looking at houses in that suburb, we noticed that the prices were quite high compared to our budget that we'd set ourselves. And we did set our budget lower because I wasn't sure about my work when I arrived, which is a good thing because I'm still not working. But what we did do was then started to branch out and think, oh, well, we could just move here and we could just move there. Now, when we spoke to Markel about that, she was really quite honest with us in her feedback of how far away those suburbs were. So on the map for us, you know, it looked like 5-10 minute drive. It didn't look very far. But now we're here and we realise how huge the place is. We're really grateful for Markel for that honest feedback. Because we probably would have been about a 25-minute drive from the children's school in the area that we branched out to. And that would have been really hard for transport when we were at work and things like that, but also for the children making friends in that area. So we're really grateful for that honesty. That helped us a lot. So back to the search. The first shortlist that Markel sent through, I think there were 3 or 4 properties. There were a couple that kind of floated our boat, but they weren't available till the end of September, which probably would have meant either staying in a hotel or an Airbnb, and that didn't really suit our budget. And then the other couple, we just didn't see ourselves living there. So we came back to Markel and said, can we just carry on looking? And at the same time, we were constantly looking as well. She let us know when different websites updated their properties. So Real Estate Australia, we'll pop a link in the description below, and domain.au.edu. They were a couple of the websites that we kept looking at. So we were all finding the same houses together. And then with our second shortlist, we liked a couple of the houses. And so we booked rental inspections with them. But the good thing about going with a relocation agent is that they also get updates about properties that aren't yet on the market. So Markel also alerted us to a property that had come up. It was absolutely beautiful, where previous clients of hers had broken lease, but it wasn't available till the end of September again. So we knew that wasn't for us. So a few days later, Markel then went and did our rental inspections for us. Now, this is another reason to get a relocation agent if you're umming and ahhing about what to do, because you have to have somebody go in person to view the property on your behalf. So if you don't have a friend or a family member out here that can do that for you, you're going to find it really difficult. Obviously, you can wait till you come and you can go and do the inspections yourself. But now that we are here, I am so glad that we didn't do that, because it was just stressful enough already without having to then look for a property. So Markel went out and did the property inspections and sent us the videos pretty much the same day, because obviously the UK was behind by 8.5 hours, so we were getting them back through. Her videos were so thorough and meticulous. Like, she opened every cupboard, every door, showed us every mark, and was honest with her feedback on both properties that she went to see as well. We loved one of the properties that she went to see, so we put our application in the next day. Now, before we did that, Markel double checked both of our applications. So if you are a couple, you both have to apply for the property. You have to send in a separate application. Obviously, all of the paperwork, like your cover letter and things like that, are the same, but you upload your own wage slips, your own proof of savings and things like that. So she checked all of that, because what we didn't realise is we both put our children on our applications. So it looked like we had 4 children and not 2. So only one of you needs to put the children on. And just things like that she checked over and then let us know that it was okay to submit. We were told that the owners of the house had previously said no to 2 applications that had been put in. So we weren't that hopeful that it was going to be the one for us. However, I think because of the relationship that Markel and the property manager had, it was really easy for them to go backwards and forwards with the owner and kind of put our case across, really, and send over all of our bits and pieces. So within 48 hours, we had our rental application approved, and Rental Search Australia didn't stop there with their help. That was just kind of the start of it. So after the house was approved, Markel then helped us to set up all of the utility connections and the internet. So that was all ready when we got here. She organised a day with us that she could do so that she could accept deliveries to the house. So she came in on the day before I think the lease was due to start. So she collected the keys. She organised a cleaner to come in for us. That wasn't something we had to do, but it was something we just chose to, because again, when you get here and you're jet lagged, that's the last thing that you want to be doing. So we had somebody clean the property. Markel accepted deliveries for our fridge, our washing machine, our dryer and a hoover. She had been to Kmart to pick up our click and collect, which was our blow up mattresses. She'd inflated our mattresses for us. She had stayed here for somebody to come and fit new ceiling fans. So all of those things were an absolute godsend, and she would have done more, but I was really fussy about going shopping and choosing my own kettle and toaster and all of those things. So if you want to, you can get your bedding part of the click and collect, and Markel will make up all of your bed for you when you arrive as well. So a really lovely service, and something that I'm very grateful for when we arrived. We actually chose to stay in a hotel for the first couple of nights when we arrived, because we got here about 10 p.m. So we didn't want to come straight up to the house. But Markel would have met us here if that's something we'd chosen. So we were collected the day after we landed, and again, really flexible with time. So the original time I think was 9:30. I was really worried about jet lag and thought that everybody might still be asleep. That was not correct. So we were collected by Anna, who also works with Rental Search Australia, and picked us up in a beautiful car. All of our big suitcases fit in there, and she drove us from the CBD, which is the city centre, up to our suburb. And during the drive, she gave us a bit of a tour of Adelaide, was talking to us about kind of all the things that we can do, where her favourite places were, where was good to take the kids. So that was a really lovely drive. We had beautiful weather coming up here. And it was a little bit scary, because we had that realisation of we're going to our new home now. It doesn't feel like a holiday anymore, and that was really scary. And then we drove down our street and we saw the sea. and we can see the sea from about 4 different places in the house, and we realised that we'd done the right thing. So Markel met us with the keys and a big hug. So that was really nice, because obviously we know absolutely nobody in Australia, so it was really nice to see a friendly face, and kind of just showed us round. And then their support didn't end there. So Markel was checking in on us for the few days after we arrived, making sure that we were okay, that we had everything. If you do decide to go with Rental Search Australia, you get discount codes sent to you. So one of the ones we used was for Koala. So they do mattresses and sofas and beds and things. Same day and next day delivery, which is, I think, unheard of here. So we got our sofa with them, and we got a 20% discount off because of working with Rental Search Australia. So that was amazing. And it's just nice to have somebody, a friendly face, once you arrive. Markel had also, on the day that she came to accept all the deliveries and things, had done the majority of the property inspection report. So when you move into your rental property, you have to do a report, and then that's used so that when you have your inspections every 3 or 6 months, I think it is, that they know that if there was any damage, for example, there's a mark on one of our carpets that was there before and it wasn't us. So she took photographs of everything that she'd noticed. She was so thorough with that. There were things that we hadn't even batted an eyelid to. We added a couple of things on, but the majority of that was done by her. Honestly, cannot thank Markel enough for everything that she did. And so now we are in the property, and it's absolutely beautiful. As I said, we can see the ocean from so many of the windows that we've got, and it's really nice to keep checking in with Markel and following on Instagram. And there's lots of different things, lots of different services that they provide as part of their packages. So I would definitely recommend working with Rental Search Australia. If you don't choose them, that's absolutely fine. But for us, same as everything's personal. If you want to have somewhere secured before you arrive, then a relocation agent is the way to go. I'm a massive stress head. There has been so much to sort out since we got here. I think if we'd had to drag the children around all of the shops and properties, and the stress of that, and not knowing the suburbs and the areas, I would have really struggled with that. So personal preference, but if you are looking to work with a rental agent, then 100% recommend Rental Search Australia. Rental Search Australia also have a competition running at the moment, at the time of making this video. I think applications close next month, which is November, where you can get your relocation package completely for free if you apply to do some kind of journaling of your process of working with them and getting a rental sorted here. So it's well worth applying for that, because it could save you quite a bit of money. That is our journey to getting our rental. We've got lots of other content coming for you now that we are here. It's coming up to 6 weeks since we left the UK, so we've learnt lots of new things since we arrived that we are excited to share with you. If you have found this video useful, please like and subscribe, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.